Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. The European Commission, the EU's executive branch, is reportedly laying the groundwork for what some are calling the bloc's first ever spy agency. Now, the Commission chief, Ursula von der Leyen, says the move is about strengthening Europe's security in turbulent times. Now, while critics warn it's a political power grab into the secretive realm of intelligence. And joining me now to discuss it further is Jacek Raubo, Director of Strategic Analysis, Defense 24. Good to have you back on TVP World.
Hello, and thank you for having me here.
Jacek, let's begin with the motivation behind this. I mean, it's not the first thing that makes people comfortable. A spy agency from the European Union. Give us your take on what's behind this and if it's necessary.
I think we need to first of all look inside the dictionary, because sometimes we are struggling with the definition of so-called intelligence issues. Mostly people are thinking about the typical espionage, or they are mostly focusing on the so-called human intelligence field. But I think intelligence is much wider definition. It is mostly dedicated to getting information, translating this into the effective products to our decision makers. That's why we can look on the American field. There is a lot of intelligence agencies, so-called intelligence agencies, and some of them are providing not effective espionage activities. They are mostly collecting information for some other fields of activities, for instance, for law enforcement structures, for decision makers. That's why I think we need to, first of all, look what we want to achieve. If there is a lack of effective support to the decision makers on the field of the European Commission about situational awareness, about the situation around the European Union, I think it might be a solution to create this kind of a cell which provide these products to commissioners. And I see the only one way to strengthen this by putting the most attractive field of open sources intelligence. Because when we think about the typical espionage activities dedicated to covering and collecting information from human assets, from even signal intelligence, I have a lot of doubts. I have a lot of question marks here. So maybe here the first task for us when we are trying to define what they want to achieve is to define this term intelligence and place this in the European Union debate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so fair point there, and I think many people will be wondering about that. And as you said, it probably won't be that there will be agents in the field. Nevertheless, such a remit for the European Union, that's going to be difficult for some people to stomach. Let's see what the Commission themselves said. They were asked at a press conference. Let's see what the head spokesperson said of what kind of plans that they have for this. Let's share that with you and our viewers now.
The idea is that it will be a small cell, and it's meant to really also complement the work of the existing structures, notably within the External Action Service.
We are in a challenging geopolitical and geoeconomic environment, and the Commission, because of this, is examining how to strengthen its security and intelligence capabilities. So as part of this approach, the creation of a dedicated cell within the Secretariat General is being considered. This would build on existing expertise, of course, within the Commission, and, for example, play a key role in the preparation of the security colleges. It will be a complementary initiative, so it will complement the work of the Security Directorate of the Commission, and will also closely cooperate with the respective services of the European External Action Service. So that's pretty much it for now.
All right, so if we can translate that from Brussels language, so it's going to be small, they're going to complement existing structures. It's part of the External Action Service, so this diplomatic service of the European Union. But I wonder, because the assumption here is that it will complement existing things. Now, if they want to cooperate with national governments, right, I think I'm troubled with the idea of maybe Germany and France and other countries. They're not really going to share that so easily, are they? Or am I wrong?
So There is some pluses and minuses of this statement. Maybe we'll start with this good information that they want to strengthen this analytical branch, which is right now countering a lot of threats which are impacting on European Union actions around Europe. So I think, and this is only my assessment, they want to create the battle group, this kind of a task force for analytical issues. So as you have heard, and as we have heard, they want to gather information coming from the various institutions, produce some kind of assessments, and then effectively spread to the decision makers. So I think we had a right to underline that it might be not a typical intelligence agency, but it might be an intelligence structure to support data collecting, data analyzing, and then production of effective support to decision makers. On the other hand, I even underline one aspect: expertise. So it will be a much more think tank which is providing better knowledge about the open sources intelligence and some even gray zones coming from the European Union diplomats and covering to the Brussels than the typical espionage agency. So I think this is my assessment. Of course, we will have a very small, tiny task force to strong this decision-making process. On the other hand, I would like right now focus on minuses. So the first thing, when you are creating this kind of a cell and you're informing everyone, right now it might be the first task for espionage agencies from China, Russia, and other even European Union states to plant their own assets. So how we will, and this is my first question mark here, how will we secure this kind of a recruitment? It will be a very difficult task, because if you are informing that right now there will be a lead group of analytics or analysts, and there will be a large impact of this activity on the decision-making process, the ring bells are sounded in every places around the world. We need to be there. So the first question is how to counter intelligence will secure that, because the European Union has no such a counterintelligence agency. On the other hand, cost. So who will pay for this activity? Of course, European Union. But when we have other spendings, we have other questions about the budget. It will be effective right now to ask about the structure of costs. Because if you want to gather a lot of information, you need to invest in effective software, effective tools to gather, to analyze a spectrum of information coming even from the open sources intelligence sources. So there is a lot of question marks. And the third question mark, trust. And I think on the intelligence field, this is the kind of the pillar. Who will trust this structure? Of course, when we think about European Union institutions, they will be able to trust them to this group. But on the other hand, when you are cooperating with the members, who will trust the specific some small structure inside the European Union you need to cooperate with? And still, I think we will have a problematic field of trust, because there is, as you mentioned, there is a lot of intelligence agencies around the European Union member states, and they will be, and I think it's a very natural and very obvious, they will be very careful with any intel sharing with this kind of institution. And without that, they will lost inside European Union, of course. They will lost a lot of trust in this bilateral relations. So still, I think there is a lot of doubts. There is a lot of question marks, and we need to be very careful. My opinion and my assessment, we will see a small group of analytical branch inside European Union structure, in which they will collect information from the various diplomats of European Union, various institutions, even maybe measure intelligence data, and they will congregate that into the one product, but effectiveness and the cost of that is still under the construction. So I have a lot of doubts.
Yeah, I think you've raised some interesting points there. I was going to ask as well about cost, also about trust, accountability, and I'm just also wondering who will oversee this, right? Who will they answer to? And then also, if we look at the structures, I mean, the European Union is a complex, structured entity and bloc, so many different things all at the same time. Hard enough as it is to add intelligence in there. We're just having a difficulty right now with defense. That's already an area where there's already growing pains, if we want to call it that. But I also wanted to ask, if you can, maybe give your view on this, if it's even allowed in terms of the treaties, if this is an area that the European Union has, let's say, well, legal right to have something like this. I mean, are the member states going to have a problem with this, you think? And secondly, really quickly, operationally, if this does go ahead, how long would something like this go ahead before it really starts to be effective?
So the last part of the question is the most easiest one. It will be a long process. You need to recruit experts. You need to check them. This is sometimes 1 year of checking the background of the various people from the around European Union member states. So maybe they will recruit people from the different dimensions. So you need to cooperate with the counterintelligence institutions inside the member states. So, and again, trust. Cost of production of this kind of expertise is high because they need, as I mentioned before, they need to invest in effective new software to build this situational awareness, to build effective collection of various data, and to provide them these tools to their hands and also to train them. Third aspect you asked me. So I think it will be very difficult right now to accept, to give these acceptances from all of the NATO members. European Union members. Freud, a mistake. So there is a lot of problematic fields, and I think there will be law struggles, there will be institutional struggles, there will be financial struggles. Many struggle they need to overthrow before they will start effective activities. But still, I think they will provide a very small group of analysts for some practical background to the commissioners, and there will be no large institution which will overthrow the basic rules of state-owned intelligence agencies.
Yeah, I know we're conscious on the time. I just want to still get your view, though, in terms of, let's flip it for a moment, because at the same time, the criticisms are there, but let's look at some of the, let's say, as you said earlier, the positives here or the reasons behind it. How much to this idea is out of the fact that Donald Trump has been as unpredictable as he has been of the intelligence sharing on, off with allies? How much did that contribute to this kind of idea? And is it necessary? Just let's make that case really quickly at the end.
Really quickly, we have such a tools because there is a senior SIGINT structure in Europe. We see a large number of cooperation between the various intelligence agencies inside Europe, and I think it's still the state-owned field. So European Commission is on a very poor position to counter this kind of a state-owned perspective. So I have a lot of question marks, and I'm very skeptical about sudden arrival of European Union level intelligence agency to this architecture.
All right, so as we established, there probably won't be any 007 field agents by the European Union, but it will be definitely something that we'll look at more. There'll be
maybe more Jack Ryans.
We'll see what that looks like, yeah, but we'll analyze it as we have more data on it. Look, thanks so much. Always a pleasure. Jacek Raubo there. Appreciate all your insights. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here for more news and commentary on TVP World. Goodbye.